Peace and welcome, family. Today is the new moon in Leo. Today is the new moon in Leo. And so, what that means is that this is the day, or these next few days, is the time for us to set intentions that will allow us to embody that Leo zodiac energy. All right. If you know anything about the Leo, if you know anything about that lion, that lioness energy, you know we are talking about exhibiting strength, exhibiting power, exhibiting balance, shining, being your royal divine self. That is what the Leo energy is all about. Okay, that is what the Leo energy is all about. Um, and so in this new moon, right now is the time to begin to look at the ways in which you've been playing small, not living royally, not shining your divine light, not living as powerful as you can, not being courageous, not being influential on others, not being compassionate. Now is the time for you to set the intentions on whatever the work is that you need to do in order for you to embody that divine sacred Leo, that Sekhmet energy. All right. That is what we're talking about today. Now, the reverse side of the Leo, when we're talking about like the strength card in Tarot, we're talking about self-doubt, low energy, or raw emotion. All of these things are very important when it comes down to your spiritual journey, when it comes down to you living the life that you are meant to live. So at this new moon, your intentions need to be, how can I embody inner strength? How can I live more courageously, more powerfully? How can I be a positive influence on others? How can I be more compassionate, more impactful? How can I build community? How can I build community? How can I apply this resilience? How can I live my life to the fullest? See, if y'all know anything about a Leo, Leos are very bold, they're very boisterous, they're very they have something to say. They have a purpose, they have a meaning. Matter of fact, yesterday Dream Wise went live talking about Nipsey Hussle, and it was so funny because my mom's birthday is August 15th as well, the same as Nipsey Hussle. And when we think about Nipsey Hussle, we're thinking about somebody who was impactful. We're thinking about somebody who was like forward thinking. We're thinking about somebody who would let his light shine. In fact, I love in one of his songs where he says, no 10 on my Mercedes, that's for inspiration. That's Leo energy. Leo energy is like, I'm showing up big, I'm showing up bold. An unhealthy quality of that Leo could be this conceitedness, this egotistical, this I'm the king of the safari type energy, which can be looked at as negative. But if the right person is observing this, it will be an inspiration. It will be an upliftment. It will be encouragement and motivation. And we see that from Nipsey Hussle. I also think about the other day, Dreamwise and I randomly looked at the Kanye West Genius documentary on Netflix. Why we decided to look at it, I don't know. I guess there was nothing on TV. So we decided to look at the Kanye West Genius thing. And his mother says, when a giant looks in the mirror, he sees nothing. And I'm just realizing how powerful this is for that Leo energy. When a giant looks in the mirror, he sees nothing. And Kanye West on the documentary, he didn't really understand what his mother was talking about. This was so powerful. He was kind of confused about what was the message. He asked her, he said, Mom, so do you think I'm too arrogant? She said, No, I think you are exactly how you're supposed to be. She said, a star can't not be a star. If you're going to be a star, you have to show up. You have to be that. You have to be that sacred power that you are. And so this Leo new moon energy is about you accepting the power, the strength, the courage, the influence, and the impact that you have on other people. That is what this new moon energy is about. Now, you have to do the work to purge, to cleanse the beliefs, the thought forms, the energy, and the people that stop you from shining and that stop you from being as bright and as bold as you are meant to be. You know, so one of these things is, I know for me on my path, I had to not be around insecure people. Y'all, let me tell you, this girl I was in college with, right? Most of y'all know this. I played college volleyball and I was good. Matter of fact, I was more than good. I was great, right? And so I had this Leo pride. When we think about the lions, right? When we think about a group of lions, what do we call it? We call it a pride. All right. Think about the Lion King, right? A group of lions, a family of lions, these are called a pride. See, the divine is very special in particular when it comes down to how we word and we label things. But I had this Leo pride, this Leo shine and excitement and strength about who I was and what I was capable of doing on the volleyball court. But I was surrounded by people who were parasitic. I had a roommate who was also my teammate who could not stand to see me shine. If I made a mistake in a game, she was low key happy. Like she was like, ooh, you know, low key happy if I made a mistake. If I got hurt or something like that, like she kind of, it brought her pleasure for me not to be in my best place possible, in my best state possible. And that is what I call a parasite. And so for many of you family, you know that you have this light, you know that you have this sun. If we think about Leo, Leo is a fire sign, which means it's a sun sign, which means it's a solar sign, which means it's about shining your divine light. It's about being passionate. It's about going for what it is that you want. So many of you have this, but there's a parasite, a spiritual parasite that you are connected to that is stopping you from shining as bright as you can shine. Many of you have this purpose, have this passion, have this influence that you are meant to have on others for the better, for the good, for the overall collective consciousness. Many of you have this, but you cannot identify what parasite is leeching off of your light. All right. You cannot identify what that parasite is. Now, it's so divine how this came to me, right? I've been over the last couple of days, Spirit has just having me in just thought, right? I've just been thinking and contemplating and figuring things out. And I went to sleep last night and I had a dream about two specific women in my life. Two specific women in my life. I had a dream about my aunt. And I had a dream about my elementary. I mean, this young lady has been my friend since elementary school, right? Our relationship has changed a lot now because she's experienced some trauma, and this trauma that she's experienced has changed her into something else. So I dreamt about my aunt, and I dreamt about my old friend, a lifelong friend that I've had. I dreamt about both of them. And in my dream, they were both being parasitic. And let's talk about what a parasite is really quickly. A parasite is an entity that inhabits a host, right? That inhabits a host, and it drains the host of its life force energy and its nutrients. Okay? A parasite is an entity or an energy that inhabits a host, right? Either it lives in the body or it's energetically just around it or it's just plugged in some way, somehow. And as it is plugged into your energy or to its host energy, it drains it of its life force energy and of its nutrients. Think about if any of y'all ever had a dog, right? Think about a tick on a dog. If you think about a tick on a tick will be on that dog and it will be sucking all of that dog's blood. It's a parasite. Think about a leech that latches onto somebody's skin and they sucks their blood. It's a parasite. Or think about your gut health, right? There are so many different parasites that we get, when you eating that raw sushi and you thinking you all fancy, dipping it in your hibachi sauce and your wasabi sauce. A lot of that raw fish be having parasites. Those parasites get into your gut. They disrupt your microbiome within your gut, which is actually your second brain. And these parasites be taking all of your nutrients. Ladies, this is a side note. If you ever have been told that you are anemic, you probably got a parasite. Okay? And I'm telling y'all from my own experience, right? You probably have a parasite. It could be candida. Oh, ladies, we're going to talk about some candida, i.e. yeast. This is a parasite that has gone rampant and is taking control of your body. So a parasite is an entity that inhabits its host or attaches to its host, and it leaches nutrients and life force energy from it. All right. So I had a dream of my aunt and my very close friend for many, many years, and they were being parasitic. And the way that they were being parasitic in the dream was they were just complaining and they were arguing and this was two separate dreams. So my first dream was of my aunt and she's just nagging and complaining and it's draining. And then the second dream, after I woke up, went to the bathroom, went to bed, it was my good friend. Now she's in the dream, just acting wild and being parasitic. And so when I woke up this morning, I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. Because for some of you, the parasite is not in your microbiome. It's not in your gut. For some of you, the parasite that is blocking you from shining and exhibiting that divine Leo light that is blocking you from living in the way that you're meant to live, shining, being that royal self, a part of what's stopping you from exhibiting the strength, the courage, the power. Listen to me here. You have a divine strength, a divine power, an ability to be persuasive. You have this divine sacred energy that you are meant to exhibit and let shine, hence the fire of Leo, hence the sun of Leo, that you are not able to shine because you are connected to a parasite. This parasite could be your mother, it could be your brother, it could be a friend, it could be a job. We're going to get into that. There are many forms that parasites show up, but for the fact that my dream showed me this, for many of you, the parasite that you're going to have to spiritually cleanse throughout this cycle, the parasite that you're going to have to spiritually cleanse throughout this new moon to full moon cycle is going to be people. It's going to be that person that is constantly triggering you. It is going to be that person that never uplifts and encourages you. It is that person that after you talk to them on the phone, they make you feel drained. It is that person who isn't pouring into you, but you're pouring into them and therefore you feel depleted. It is that person that is not loving you in the way that you need to be loved. And at this point, with this new moon in Leo, if you do not set the intention and do the work to purge that parasite, it's safe to say that you are comfortable with allowing somebody else to drain your energy and control you. Okay? That's just it. So let's talk about some different forms of parasites, right? And you have the parasite that comes in a form of a thought form, meaning there's this thought that you can't stop thinking. And as it runs rampant in your mind, it makes you be like, I wish I could just stop thinking about this. You ever just have this one thought that you're like, I think about this. I've seen this so many times. After a person gets cheated on, right? They get cheated on. And their person may be like, I don't even want to use cheated on because cheated on is understandable. Let's say a woman has been cheated on in the past and now she's in this new relationship and this guy is a good guy. He is honest, he is loving, he's caring, he's nurturing, he's emotionally safe, he's present. He's like, girl, I want to be here with you. I want to be with you. He's showing her that she is the apple of his eye and he wants to do life with her. He's showing up powerfully in the relationship. But she got this parasitic thought form that keeps on telling her, oh, girl, you know you can't trust him. Girl, you know all men ain't shit. You know, men be dogs. I know he's saying he love you. I know he's showing out. He taking you on dates in the middle of the day, honey. He is taking you to lunch, baby. I know he wants you to meet his mama, his family, his friends. He's showing you all of that. But you know all men ain't shit. But you know men ain't, you can't trust these men. And then before you know it, your actions are being governed by that parasitic thought, and now you all sneaking around. He come into your crib, he go to the bathroom, you looking through his phone, okay? And he like, what's this? What have I shown you to make you feel that you can't trust me? What have I done? But what it really is the damn parasite. The parasite that comes in the form of a thought form. This thought that runs rampant in your mind. Shout out to all the ladies who are in womb alchemy. We're starting womb alchemy tomorrow, and we're going to talk about thought forms and how to get rid of them bitches, because they will run your life. It is a parasite and it's draining. Sometimes some of you are staying in thoughts for so long, this thought form, this parasitic thought form, you're exhausted just from thinking. All right, that's one form of thought form. Another form of another form of parasites, like I just said, is people. And what Spirit showed me so beautifully last night is that some of us are so plugged into certain people who have mental illnesses. Dream and I were having a whole discussion about this because the topic of mental illness seems to have run rampant over the last couple of years. The reality is that we all go through some form of mental illness in our lives until we come into a certain level of consciousness and self-awareness, okay? So some of you have people in your lives who are truly suffering from mental illness, meaning they lack awareness of self, they lack environmental awareness, they cannot understand or plug into what anybody outside of them has going on. They think that what is happening in their head is the end all be all. They think that what they're thinking is the absolute truth and nothing can move them or wave them. And if you think, speak, do, or say anything opposite from what they think, their emotions are triggered, anger happens, depression happens, anxiety happens, all of these different things happen. All right. Many of you are connected to people who are so close-minded. And when they express how they feel, or when they do whatever it is that they do, you are allowing their thoughts, their emotions, their actions to control how you feel. Okay? Let's say you went to a psych ward, right? Let's say you went to a psych ward, a psychiatric ward where people here are struggling with mental illness, whether it's bipolar disorder, whether it is personality disorder, whether it's schizophrenia. You know that the people here have a mental disorder. You know that they are not all there. You know that they lack a certain level of awareness in the present moment, right? Now, I'm not talking about the, people who were into spirituality. Maybe they opened up their third eye too quickly before they had enough spiritual authority to be doing that. And now they see in other realms and realities and spirits, and now they're technically crazy. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about regular ass human beings who have experienced trauma that they have not been able to process. Most of the people who are dealing with mental health issues, whether it is chronic depression, whether it is suicidal thoughts, most of the people who are dealing with this have experienced a certain level of trauma, and they do not have the resources, the knowledge, or the awareness to work through it. Talking about these type of people. Some of you are in relationships, or you are in close quarters with these types of people. All right. But let's say you're at a psych ward, you know where you're at. And somebody at that psych ward, let's say a man comes out, let's say he's a Black Pride man, right? But he's in the psych ward, okay? See, he didn't have some sort of mental break. And he comes to you and he says, Martin Luther King is still alive. Martin Luther King really didn't die on that day in wherever it was where he died, wherever he was at the hotel or whatever. He really didn't die that day. That was probably just a clone, right? Let's say a man comes up to you and say this. Are you going to hold on to what that man said and go out in your regular life and start looking for what the hell Martin Luther King is really at? Are you going to start doing research, diving down a hole of being like, well, if this man said Martin Luther King is still alive, he ain't really died, let me go figure it out? Or are you going to say, yeah, he's somewhere else mentally, and that's okay. Be well, my brother. I'm going to go ahead and go over here. More than likely, you're going to say, you're somewhere else. I'm going to go ahead and go over here. I'm going to go and live my life. That's more than likely what you are going to do. But that same energy has to apply within your relationships with your family members. Some of y'all have family members that are saying things to you, or a partner that is saying things to you that are completely off the wall. And they are being parasitic to you because you allow what they say and what they do to dictate your emotions. And this stops you from shining as bright as you are meant to shine. This stops you from being, from being who you are meant to be, because you're believing what they're saying. It's time for a parasitic spiritual cleanse. Now, I literally just experienced this over the last couple of days. My grandmother and my grandfather, they really live in the country, but they're here in Houston right now because my grandfather is going through some old age illnesses, and he's in a healing process. And so they've been staying at my mother's house. Now, my aunt, who was in my dream, she has been a CNA for like a CNA, or like, she's worked at like nursing homes and things like that, like for forever. Like that's always been her job. That's always been her profession. So she's working with my grandpa. She's helping him, help doing this catheter. She's doing all the little things for him, but she just has a nasty attitude. Now, my aunt has tested, and I'm not saying that these tests are real, but she's tested for bipolar disorder. She's getting paid a check for bipolar disorder. That she just is, right? Everybody in my family has observed how she can flip a switch. One day she family. The next day she like, fuck all the family. The next day she like, forget all y'all. And so over the last couple of days of her taking care of my grandpa, she's just been really nasty. She's been really mean. Even I had called my grandma because I'm like, hey, grandma, how are y'all doing? I'm just checking on y'all. What do I need to bring y'all? What do I need to do for y'all? I'm just doing me, right? Loving on them, supporting them. She yells through the phone. I'm not even on the phone with her. She yells, Desiree, so you just not going to say hey to me? Grandma just told you I'm over here. I'm like, I didn't know I had to speak to you through the phone, even though I'm over here taking care of my own kids, trying to see what grandma and papa need. You want to make this conversation about you. She was being a parasite, but I ain't let her plug into me. So I said to her, I'm sorry, auntie. I was just trying to check on grandma, see what they need to do. I got these 3 kids over here. We're literally walking out of the house. I'm putting them in the car. So no, I'm not saying hey to you, not because I don't want to say to you, hey to you, but my awareness is not thinking about saying hey to you. I'm asking grandma, what does she need for me to do to them while I'm trying to get kids in the car? So, but she took that personal. She tried to plug into me and drain me of my life force energy by igniting a certain emotion inside of me. So I apologized to her and I moved on because I know it's her problem, not mine. I go to the house where she's at with my grandma and my grandpa the next day, y'all. The next day, and she still has an attitude. I'm like, hey, auntie, hey, how your day going? It's good. Oh, you still mad? But see, I'm conscious though. I'm aware. I know that I have a divine light to shine. And when I'm coming over here and I'm working with my grandma and my grandpa and I'm trying to support them in this healing process as they are up in age, I'm not about to let you dim my light by me being upset with you being a parasite. You understand? So, but see, I'm observing my mother, my grandmother, my uncle. They are all allowing her parasitic energy and her lack of mental health and self-awareness. They are letting her, shoot. Oh gosh. Sorry, y'all. Y'all probably can still hear me, but you can't see me because my camera cord just came out. That means to me, this is getting deep. Can y'all still hear me? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if y'all can still hear me, even though my camera went out. We should be good. Ooh. Okay, y'all can't hear me? Yeah, good. All right. Let's see. We should be good. So I'm glad y'all hear me, even though you can't see me. Stay tuned. Don't run away. I'm still here. Welcome back. Hey, y'all. So, so my mother, my grandma, my uncle, they're all getting annoyed and frustrated with her. They're like, "Ooh, your auntie doing this, and ooh, she doing this, and I'm just tired, and I'm just this." And I just keep on telling them, stop. Like, just stop. Stop talking about what she's doing. Stop talking about what she's saying. If she, because my grandma, y'all, she's almost 80 years old. And she's letting her daughter, who she's always had a toxic relationship with, because my aunt has mental health issues. She is certified, approved, bipolar. She does exist in multiple realms. But when it comes down to, and because she's experienced such a heavy amount of trauma, she struggles to connect with people on an emotional level. She feels like everybody is attacking her, literally. And so I'm telling my grandma, I'm like, Grandma, why are you letting her to make you so angry and make you so sad? She's been doing the same thing for years. She's a parasite. Of course, I can't tell that to my grandma, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, Grandma, she's a parasite. And so I'm telling them in other words, in words that they can understand. I'm like, Grandma, you cannot allow her to keep you so frustrated. You are trying to help Papa to heal. You are up in age yourself. Stop acting like she is, stop letting her plug into you. Because as she's plugging into you, you can be the wife, you can be the grandmother, you can't be who you need to be because she's plugged into you and she's controlling how you feel. That's what parasites do. That's what parasites do. You'll be feeling all good and something like that. Then that parasite will plug into you. And now your emotions have changed. Your thoughts have changed. Your cravings have changed. You're like, whoa, this is not what I was thinking and feeling. How am I here right now? A parasite. All right. And so this Leo new moon energy is asking you to do the work to sever the ties between thought forms, people, situations, and circumstances that are blocking your light, that are blocking you from being who you need to be. Some other forms of a parasite could be a job. A job can be a parasite to your divine Leo light. Again, when we think about the Leo energy in general, we are talking about this regalness. We're talking about this jovialness, this lovingness, this loyalty. See, all the Leos I know is loyal as hell. They carry themselves in such a regal divine way. I mean, my mom and her twin brother is a Leo. They're the greatest Leos that I know. Nipsey Hussle, a great Leo. Dream Wise is a Leo Virgo cusp, literally to the day. Kobe Bryant is also a Leo Virgo cusp to the day. So there's this powerful energy of the Leo that is that is really supposed to be seen and that's supposed to shine. Matter of fact, I have a Chiron in Leo. My Chiron is in Leo, and shit, I've been telling y'all this whole time that a part of my spiritual work, a part of the woundedness that I am embodying and that I'm working through is being okay with being in that regal stature like a lion, right? My Chiron being in Leo is all about being able to honor my royalty, my regalness, and be seen and not feel down or bad or ashamed of my own royalty because other people can't handle it, right? So that's what's happening right now with this Leo new moon. You are being asked to spiritually cleanse these parasitic energies, i.e., a job. Like I just said, a job could be one, right? You may be going into this job. You got gifts, you got talents, you got spiritual power. You have this energy that you are meant to express and exude and to allow to be seen. But when you go into this job, you got to play small. Maybe it's because you got a boss, right? Oh my God. Maybe it's you have a boss. Let's use this as an example because I've literally seen this example before, right? Let's say you're a Black woman and you have a boss that is also a Black woman. right? And you know what should be happening at that job in order for the work to run smoothly, in order for things to happen divinely. You know how to make this job more efficient, right? You know how to make this job more efficient. You're like, I got this. I got this great idea. But because you don't want to step on that other Black woman's toes, or because you don't want to offend this other Black woman because she's the boss, she's the manager, you keep your mouth closed. You dim your light and you put yourself in a shell because there can only be one powerful Black woman at a job. Okay? That's parasitic energy. That job is parasitic within itself because it's blocking you from shining your light. And then obviously you guys know about parasites that live in the gut. I just told y'all about one, Candida, and a whole bunch of other ones that I could care less to name because it's just too much. So you need to get your parasite cleanse on. Dr. Bobby Price, Holistic Reengineering. Y'all have heard of them before. All right. The gut parasite, though, oh, it really controls your mind. You start having these cravings, right? Do y'all know that parasites are connected to how you think? Some of you can't even think from the boldness, from the brilliance, from the royalty, and from the love that you're meant to think from because there's a parasite controlling your mind. Wow. Like I was saying about my grandma can't even be present with her husband right now because her daughter that she's always had a strenuous relationship with is controlling how she's thinking because she's controlling her emotions. Okay? It's time to unplug from these parasites. It's time to cut them off, right? It's time to cut them off. You have a parasitic friend. Oh, come on. You have a parasitic friend. If all you and your friend can talk about is gossip and what somebody else is doing, it's parasitic. If you and your friend cannot have a conversation about growth, about manifestation, about how y'all are becoming better, if you and your friend cannot hold each other accountable, it's parasitic. If your friend is only calling you, girl, let's go get a drink. Girl, let's go get a drink. Girl, let's go hit these streets. You probably have a parasitic friend. Okay. Why? Because you probably spending money that you shouldn't be spending. All right. You probably hanging out in places that are low vibrational as hell. And these energetic attachments are connecting to you. All right. And the only way you end up at these places is because you got this one friend that always call you and ask you to go. She's probably a parasite. He's probably a parasite. All right. So I want y'all to understand this. So let's talk about some of the symptoms of a parasitic relationship. Whether the parasite is connecting to you through food, right? So your gut health, whether the parasite is an addiction. And in fact, let me actually reword that. Let me be very clear here. Let me be very clear here. An addiction, whether it's an addiction to shopping, an addiction to sex, an addiction to food, an addiction to any drug, an addiction is actually the symptom of a parasite. An addiction is the result of a parasite. All right? Because that energy, that host, so to speak, okay, not host, it's not a host because you're the host. But that entity, that energy is the thing that triggers the addiction or the craving or the desire for that thing. All right. So that's what that is. Let's talk about some of the symptoms. Let's talk about some of the symptoms of it. The first symptom that you will recognize or observe whenever you are dealing with a parasite, one of the first symptoms is going to be chronic fatigue. You ever be around somebody and they just make you tired? You just be like, damn, I was feeling quite all right. And after talking to you, right, or after dealing with you, I'm tired. I need to take a nap. Has that ever happened to any of y'all? Right? It for damn sure has happened to me. In fact, I've had to place boundaries with people that I love for this very reason. I've had to place boundaries with people that I love for this very reason. And then I want y'all to understand y'all to stick around because Spirit actually gave me a meditation. Spirit actually gave me a meditation that I'm going to share with y'all that is going to help you to call back your energy from a parasite. If you cannot, this is good. If you cannot identify a parasite within your relationships, I encourage you to look at thought forms, a thought that you keep on keeping, right? A thought that you keep on thinking. I encourage you to look at that. I encourage you to look at habits that you can't let go of, even though your higher self is like, you really need to let this go. I advise you to look at that because it could be parasitic to you. I advise you to really reflect on your job, your day-to-day life, just things that you're doing on a regular basis that are blocking you from feeling, living, and existing in the divine way that you are meant to. All right, in the divine way that you're meant to. So, number one is definitely chronic fatigue. If when you deal with this person or you think this thought or you go to this job, you are tired, you are exhausted, you are drained, even though you've had like a full night of rest, more than likely you are dealing with some parasitic energy connected to that thing. Chronic fatigue, big one. And I know so many women that just be like, I don't know, D-Ray. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. And I'm like, well, why the hell are you so tired? And they're like, I don't know. A parasite. And the funny thing is that you could have multiple parasites at one time. It could be the parasite of a relationship. It could be a parasite within your gut health. It could be a parasite at your job. You could be dealing with multiple at one time. All right. You could be dealing with multiple parasites that could be draining your life force energy. So that's that. The second thing, this is good. The second side effect of a parasite is constipation. Yes, you heard me correctly. Constipation is one of the leading causes of you knowing that you probably got a parasite. Baby, if you're constipated, meaning you can't let shit go, you probably got a parasite. Okay? For example, let's say a friend calls you, y'all are having a conversation and she's telling you about problems that she has. And let me also say this, you need to be conscious of the fact if you are the parasite. Oh, y'all didn't know I was going to say that, huh? Y'all didn't know I was going to say that, huh? Listen, Dream and I were just talking about some business stuff that I got going on my end. And I was like, as I was getting ready to come up here, I was like, I need to be asking if he's ready to have these conversations before I start having these conversations. Because I don't need to just tell him when I'm dealing with stuff in business, because hell, he may not be in a space to receive that from me at that time. And me sharing with him, not necessarily dumping on him, but sharing something with him, a struggle that I may be having, though he is my partner, he may not be equipped to manage what I have to say at this time. And so with that, I have to be conscious to not be parasitic. Okay? This is some really powerful stuff. It's very powerful to understand this, because best believe if you are being a parasite to someone else, you are reflecting something to that person. You are showing that person something, okay? And that person is showing you something. So definitely pay attention to that, okay? Because it could very well be you, all right? And in business, from doing the work that I do, it's very easy for people to feel like they want to share what they got going on with me. And I'm grateful to be able to do that. But there's a time, a place, and a space for that actual work, right? There's a time, a space, and a place for that. And if you don't go through the proper channels to speak to me and you just start throwing all of your stuff on me, that could be parasitic. Okay? So you want to pay attention to that within yourself as well. So constipation, meaning you can't let shit go. meaning you can't release what no longer serves you. You may have a parasitic, and that parasitic keeps you connected to something that is not in alignment with your greatness. Okay? A parasite. A parasite. Do we got it? All right. Another thing is this lethargicness, right? That kind of goes hand in hand with being, that kind of goes hand in hand. I got to read this to y'all. That kind of goes hand in hand with being, with that chronic fatigue. Okay. That kind of goes hand in hand with chronic fatigue, that lethargicness. Let me read this really quick to y'all because this was absolutely powerful. I saw this the other day on Instagram and I reposted it, and so many people had something to say about it. But this is parasitic energy. So thank you, Spirit, for already lining things up for me. This is a parasite. It says a profound sketch of a woman giving her all to a man that can offer her nothing. The transfer of energy is real. If you're constantly surrounded, interacting with, having sex with, pouring feelings and yourself into an empty person, eventually they'll suck you dry. Know your worth and surround yourself with people, places, and things that won't leave you spiritually empty and skin and bones. That's what I'm talking about. That is parasitic energy. Okay? That is parasitic energy. When you are connected to somebody and they are not pouring into you and they are not serving you, uplifting you, and giving you things that are going to help you to be motivated, that is going to help you to be empowered, that is going to help you to experience love. If you are surrounded by people who don't want you to shine, because that's what this Leo new moon energy is about. This Leo new moon energy is about you shining, you being royal, you being regal. But sometimes we're just settling because a person doesn't talk down to us, right? You may be settling for a person just because it's copacetic, but you know and understand that there could be greater, right? There could be a greater experience that you can have, but because you are afraid of who and what you will be without that attachment, you'll keep that leech on you. You'll keep that parasite in your gut, right? You hold on to that relationship because you're like, who would I be without this? You'll hold on to that thought form of not being good enough, of not being valuable, of not being powerful. You'll hold on to that because this parasite, this thought form, this energy has been connected to you for so long. It's like, who would I be if I decided to think differently? If I separated from this energy, how would that impact me? Who would I be then? See, I had to tell my mom the other day. Because she called me and she was talking about this same aunt. And I was just like, Mom, I'm going to choose to see her differently. I'm going to choose to see her differently. I'm going to choose to project the new idea of her. And shit, she proved everything my mama then was saying, she proved it right. When my mom was on the phone with me complaining about my aunt, and I'm trying to be all high vibrational, right? This is some good shit. I'm being all high vibrational. I'm being all positive. I'm like, no, Mom, don't do that. Don't think that. She's okay. She could be better. Honey, sometimes we want to see the good in a person so bad that we will stay in a parasitic relationship because we got hope. We hope they'll get better. They got potential. We've seen glimpses of them being good. There's something good in everybody. Hell no. Sometimes it's just parasitic, sis, and you just got to let it go. Got to wash your hands with it. And so my aunt showed me that over these last couple of days of me having to engage with her when it comes down to caring for my grandpa. I'm like, you know what? That's who you are, and you can stay that person. But what I'm choosing to do right now is to not allow who you are to make me feel some type of way, to impact my thoughts, my emotion, my state of being. Because I know that this is a you problem. But see, a lot of times, family, we want to be hopeful. We see somebody's potential. We ignore red flags. We are comfortable with this person because we've been with them for so long, or they've been our friend for so long. And so even though the relationship is parasitic, you're like, oh, but she's good. I have a good time with her, though. We've been friends for years. See, that's the thing about a parasite. You'll give them everything that you got and they will not show up. They will not reciprocate. They will not pour back. Here's another great example of this. I have a good friend, the same friend that I just had a dream about. I knew that she was experiencing some struggles, right? Some mental health struggles. I knew that she was in some spiritual warfare, and I know that I'm equipped to do that work, right? And so because I love her, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you. I charge a certain amount for this service. I'm going to give it to you for free because we've been friends since elementary school and I want you to come out of this. I gave my friend my time, my energy, my effort, my love, my spiritual power. I wanted to utilize my gifts with her. She's like, okay, Desiree, I'm coming to these sessions. We're going to get this work in for free while I be charging everybody else, right? This was the family discount. You know what I mean? She comes to the first session. And the work is great. We're getting some breakthroughs. We're like, aha, we see it. It's going good. Second session come. She don't show up. I'm sitting on the computer, twiddling my fingers like, do. When is she going to come? Okay, 5 minutes past, 10 minutes past. Now I'm calling you. I'm like, okay, come on, girl. I done set aside time in my schedule to be able to give you this work. Where you at? Oh, whatever. I can't really do it. Whatever the excuse was, I said, okay. We're going to reschedule. I'm going to give you some grace. Let's do it the next time. Next time comes before the session. She texts me. She says, hey, I can't make it today. I got to work. At that point, I'm like, okay, now you're being parasitic. I'm trying to shine my light. I'm trying to serve and support you, uplift you, and exchange this gift with you. You're not even ready to receive it. And so I had to stop. I told her we're done. But then what happened was after that, she would randomly text me and say, hey, can we get on a call? Hey, can I get a session with you today? No, that's a parasite. That's parasitic energy. And some of that is happening with y'all, where a person, if they love you, if they value you, one, for sure, they're not going to waste your time. They're going to honor your time. They're going to honor your gift, right? If a person really values you, they're not going to wait for the last minute or take advantage of something that you're offering them in love. That is parasitic energy. All right. So another way to know if you have a parasite is if you have these cravings. Oh, you just cannot resist it, girl. You need the sugar, right? Or you need that gossip. Come on, because sometimes we crave multiple things. Sometimes you're craving sugar. Sometimes you're craving salt. Sometimes you're craving gossip. Sometimes you are craving that trauma response, that fight or flight that you're used to. Okay? And those cravings may be blocking your light. Okay? You go and you eat that sugar because you got this craving, because you got a parasite in your gut, your microbiome. You go and you eat that sugar. You're supposed to be focusing on how you were going to grow your business. But because you couldn't avoid that craving, you done ate that cookie. Now your thoughts ain't even flowing in the way that they need to flow. So now you go from the cookie to watching TV to doing absolutely nothing. All because that parasite initially didn't even want you to break through to that next level where you were going to tap into your royalty, where you were going to tap into your power, where you were going to tap into your magic. Okay, a parasite, whether it comes in the frame of a friend, something within your gut health, whether it comes from in the form of your job, your family member, or a thought form, whether it comes in any of those ways, at the end of the day, the parasite wants you to stay the same. Because if you stay the same, that means you don't see them for what they are, or you've accepted them for as they are, and you've chosen them over yourself. So if you realize and recognize that you can't break a habit, that you can't shift into a new state of being, you're probably dealing with a parasite. All right. You're probably dealing with a parasite. If you're feeling drained, if you're feeling blocked, if you're feeling stagnant, you're probably dealing with some form of parasitic energy. Again, a parasite can come in the form of a thought. You may have a thought that you think all the time that is draining you of your life force and that is stopping you from shining your light. That thought could be of, oh, it's not good enough, or I'm not good enough. I can't really do this. Oh, I can't really, why is this happening to me? Why does this have to be my life? A parasite. Period. It comes in the form of a friend, right? Green Apple said, best way to run a friend away is to help them. Ain't that terrible? I don't think that's a fact though. I think that's situational. I think when a friend is a parasite, absolutely. Absolutely that will happen. But I've had friends that I've been able to not necessarily coach in a formal setting, like on Zoom, we having a conversation, but just we talking on the phone and we're talking about upliftment and empowerment, and they're getting it and we're getting it, right? Because I learned from my friends too. I got some great friends that I learned from. Shout out to the Sacred Sister Circle, that I'm like, okay, I got this. Thank y'all for the love. Thank you for the inspiration. But people who don't actually want to grow, people who just want to talk shit, people who just want to talk about their problems, absolutely. Because now we're saying when you start to talk about solutions, when you start to talk about helping, when you start to talk about growth, oh no, I don't like that. Because my energy wants to stay in the parasitic form. I want to keep draining you. And if you give me insight, if you give me power, if you give me upliftment, then I got to fuel myself. I got to encourage myself. I got to uplift myself. Right? But no. I just want to feel better just by dumping all of my shit onto you. So if helping a friend runs them away, good. Good, because you don't have to be exerting so much energy into a person, right? So with this new moon in Leo, like I said, your intentions have to be right now to disconnect from any parasitic energy. All right. And you have to, I just gave you some symptoms: chronic fatigue, constipation, lethargic, cravings, can't break a habit, feeling drained, feeling blocked, feeling stagnant, feeling like you're repeating an old cycle. You're plugged into a parasite. And at the end of the day, you have to do the work to let go of that. Because at this point in time, and spirit becoming, I'm telling y'all, this stuff just be straight channels. Right now, spirit is like, there's so much greatness for you to exude and for you to embody. There's so much magic. There's so much power. There's so much energy that you are meant to express to the external world. But there's a thought, an emotion, a friend, a relationship, an addiction, a job. There's something that is standing in the way from the full embodiment of that. So at this time, the spiritual work for this new moon cycle and then leading all the way up to the full moon is, how do I release the energies that are draining my life force energy? How do I release the energies that are stopping me from shining my divine light, that are stopping me from bursting with creativity, with love, with romance, with energy? Matter of fact, here's the butt naked truth. Okay. Before we got pregnant with Kai, the baby I'm carrying right now, I did a fast. And I did that fast because I was reading a Parasite. This is a full circle moment. This was in February. I did that fast. And some of y'all were in womb. Jenny, I know Jenny, were you in womb alchemy at that time? Or were we were in the love course at that time. That's what we were at. We were in the love course at that time. But I had did that fast, and I was doing the fast because I had did some blood work, right? Because I was just feeling different stuff in my body, and I was just like, I could feel better. I could feel more energized. Like when I asked myself on a level of like 1 to 10, how energized do I feel? I was probably at like a 6 or a 7. What I mean by that is like when I wake up in the morning, do I just hop out of bed and I feel exhilarated and I'm ready to take on the day? Or am I kind of rolling out of the bed slow and I'm just like, I'm kind of groggy. I'm not as exhilarated as I could be. I was at like a 6 or a 7 to where it's like, I'm okay, I'm up, but I'm not very energized. And as y'all can tell right now, I'm energized as hell, right? Very energized now. I got a lot of energy. And so I had went to my naturopathic doctor, and she had did some blood. She was like, okay, you have some candida. Candida is one of those parasites. Ladies, if you've been dealing with yeast infections, girl, you got a parasite you need to cleanse, okay? It's candida. You got to clear out your gut. You clear out your gut. You clear out your womb. You clear out your womb. You clear out your head. Now you can start thinking clearly. Now you can start exhibiting that divine light and being your best self. So anyways, turned out it was candida. So I went on a 7-day fast. I did a candida cleanse where I stopped eating all of this food that wasn't serving me. And do y'all know, I got my energy back. I got my stride back. But not only that, not a few days later, maybe it wasn't a few days. However long the menstrual cycle takes, boom, we end up being pregnant. That's because I had did that cleanse. I had purged. I fasted. I changed my eating habits. I had released that parasite that was also connected to another energy as well. It wasn't just the candida. There was another energy. There was another traumatic experience that was connected to that. There was another traumatic experience that was connected to my sugar cravings, that was connected to my chronic fatigue and my lethargicness. There was a lot connected to that. And when I fasted, I was able to release that. And because I released that, I created space in my womb. And a few weeks later, boom, we pregnant, we conceive. And so my message to y'all today is that there is something that you are meant to give back in such a divine, royal way where you are just supposed to shine and be your best self, right? Where you're supposed to shine and be your best self. You're supposed to be in your royalty, in your regalness, in your love, and in your light. That is that Leo new moon energy. Okay? But when you are attached to certain entities, energies, habits, thought forms, people, when you are attached to certain things, that stuff can stand in the way and be a blockage to your greatness, to your light, to your Leo. Okay? So, y'all let me know in the chat if y'all want to know some of the ways that Spirit has given me and some of the ways that I have been able to cleanse parasitic energy from my life. If y'all want to know, let me know in the chat. I do have a meditation I'm going to share with y'all. I'm just share it with y'all, and then y'all can use this. You know, you can figure this out for your, I'm going to tell you how to do it, and then you'll be able to practice it yourself. All right. Also, something that just came to mind was if you need help with identifying the parasite in your life, go ahead and get a reading. Matter of fact, I'm thinking for probably not every new moon, but on the new moons, when I receive channels like this, very specific channels, because this is very specific. When I receive channels like this, I'm definitely going to offer a reading to y'all for this new moon energy for just 3 days, maybe, because that new moon lasts 3 days. I'm going to do readings, right, for y'all during this time. You can purchase one where I help you to embody and understand what this spiritual energy is. And I give you the work. If you've ever gotten a reading from me before, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to give you the work that you need in order for by the time that full moon comes, you're like, okay, I got it. I get it. I'm in it. I'm in the process and I'm seeing the manifestation. All right. So if you need understanding on what that parasite is for you, whether it is a thought form that you've been keeping, whether it is a relationship, whether it is, your job, whether it is just a habit, I'm going to offer readings for this new moon for the next 3 days only. I'm going to offer readings. I'm going to drop the link in the chat right now. Offer readings. And like I said, if I'm getting downloads like this, because this is a very specific download and it's very clear. If I'm getting downloads like this for the new moon, I'm gonna tell y'all about it. We're going to come back like we're doing right now, and then y'all can do whatever you need to do to get that information. All right. So in order to cleanse these parasites, Three things that you're going to need to do. And in the reading, if you get a reading, then I'll be more specific about it. Right? If you get the reading, I'll be more specific about it. But three things that you need to do just straight off the rip. You're going to have to figure out specifically how to do it for yourself. But at the end of the day, I'm giving you the gist. I'm giving you the gist. Step number one is you have to stop feeding it. You have to stop feeding the parasite. How do we feed parasites? We feed it depending on what it is. Okay. That's what I'm saying. If you get the reading, we'll be able to get specific. But depending on what it is, either you're feeding the parasite by what you eat. So when it's candida, when you're eating bread and sugar and all of that, clearly you're feeding the parasite sugar, them carbohydrates, that ice cream, them cookies. That's feeding the candida, right? If it's food, that is the parasite. If it's an entity within your gut that is stopping you from thinking clearly and tuning into your intuition, then you're going to have to stop feeding it. You may have to stop feeding it emotion. You may have to stop feeding it energy. You may have to stop feeding it thought. In general, you have to stop feeding it. The more you feed it, the stronger, the more powerful it gets. The more powerful it gets, the more it drains you of your life force energy. Stop feeding it. Number two, you're going to have to strengthen your spiritual practice. You're going to have to strengthen your spiritual practice. Here's why. When you are releasing a parasite, whether no matter what form it comes in, these things don't want to not exist. They want to exist. They want to live. They want to be present. That's why they're a parasite. No matter who, what, when, where it is, it wants to experience life, and it wants to experience life through you. So you have to develop a strong spiritual practice that will keep you protected as you are purging. Because here, as you are purging, there is always a fight. This is why, when you fast, you start having all of these damn thoughts. Your mind starts going crazy, trying to trick you into eating. That's that entity fighting and trying to hold on. When you want to let go of a man that you no longer want to be with, let's just keep it real. Right when you say, he blowing up his phone, he doing everything that you've been asking him to do. You've been saying, you need to take me out. You've been saying, you need to call me more, show me more attention, do this, do this, do this. Right when you're trying to let him go, honey, he started doing all of those things. And if you are not spiritually fortified, you'll let him back in. You'll let that parasite back in, though you know he hasn't been serving your highest good, though you know he hasn't been serving your well-being. You'll let him back in, and then before you know it, he's back draining, leeching, taking, and ain't giving a damn thing. Okay. So you have to have your spiritual practice. Your spiritual practice has to be fortified. It has to be strong. Some of you right now, Spirit also gave me this message. Some of you right now have to revamp your spiritual practice. Some of you are doing a spiritual practice that you've been doing for so long, and that spiritual practice is not necessarily translating into power. If the magical work that you are doing is not making you feel empowered, it's not making you feel more connected, it's not making you feel more in alignment and in tune with your higher self, it's time for you to revamp, rework, recreate your spiritual practice. The last thing that I want you to do when it comes to this parasite energy in order to cleanse is you have to stop taking it personal. You know, whether it's candida, whether it's a relationship, whether it is a job. You think your job give a damn about you personally? They don't. The hours is 9 to 5. You get a 30-minute lunch. If you late, this is what happens. If you don't meet your quotas, this is what happens. It's just what it is. That's the nature of the job. The job doesn't care if it's Desiree or Michelle or whoever. That is what it is. A lot of times, what keeps us connected to these parasites is we're taking it personal. We're making it about us. Candida don't give a damn who gut it lives in. It just needs a gut that has the right environment for it to survive and thrive. Your friend who's being parasitic, she don't care if she dumps on you or she dumps on the other girl. She just needs somebody to dump on. Just like my aunt. I ain't talked to my aunt and I don't know how long, and she instantly had an attitude with me. That's because she needs to plug into somebody. She needed to get fed off of angering, upsetting, and triggering somebody else. So she didn't care if it was me, my mama, my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle. She just needed somebody to do it. And anytime you take these things personal, you automatically sign yourself up to be the host. Anytime you take it personal, it's It's like you raising your hand and said, use me. It's like you're raising your hand and you're saying, drain my life force energy. Take all of my nutrients. That's what you're doing when you're taking it personal. So I want you to do those three things. Stop feeding it. No matter what the food is, you have to learn to stop feeding it. Again, get a reading. If you are resonating with it, if you're getting it, but you cannot directly pinpoint what your parasite is, right? But you feel the symptoms. You directly pinpoint your parasite. You can't pinpoint how to stop feeding it. You don't know what spiritual practices you need to be embarking on. Just get the reading. And if you're like, oh, girl, I don't know about no reading, go to that link that I just dropped right there, and you'll be able to see everybody's damn. I have so many videos of people giving testimonies of their readings with me. So just do that. But in the readings, like I said, you're going to get clarity on what your parasite is, how you've been feeding it, and how to stop, right? That's kind of a two part. What you've been feeding, how to stop. You're going to get clarity on what your spiritual practice that is going to fortify you so that this parasite cannot continue plugging into you. And then lastly, you're going to discover who you are meant to be when this parasite is detached. See, when you release the parasite, you become set free. When you release a parasite, you be like, oh shit, I feel different. You be like, they be like, who me, who this? You know, they be like, damn, who is that? You look different. You feel different. What's up with her? She ain't got that damn parasite leeching off her. That's what's different. That's what's different. You look different and you feel different when you stop letting people, places, and things drain you of your life force energy. This is a time where you are meant to shine. This new moon in Leo is asking you to exhibit your strength, your inner strength. This new moon in Leo is telling you to stop doubting yourself. This new moon in Leo is wanting you to have this invigorated, this powerful, this certain vitality, this sexy vitality, this new moon in Leo wants you to have. But in order for you to have that, you're gonna have to cut off some of these leeches. You're gonna have to cut off some of these vultures, some of these parasites in the many ways that they come. All right. Spirit is asking you to balance it out. When we look at the strength card in the tarot, the strength card is the card of the Leo. When we look at the card, we see this angelic woman. She has the figure, she has the infinity symbol over her head, which is also that 8 Lions Gate portal, and she's rubbing a lion. And what they're showing us is the fine balance between strength and stillness and power and beauty and expression and nature. They're showing us the purity. They're showing us that when you are tapped in, you can calm a roaring lion. All right. So that's my energy for y'all with this new moon. Really quickly though, a meditation that you can do that will help you with this energy is I want you to visualize yourself releasing. I want you to visualize yourself releasing from your solar plexus. All right. I want you to visualize yourself releasing anything that does not serve you, anything that has been plugged into you energetically. I want you to see it just releasing from your solar plexus and entering into the earth. I want you to see it leaving your solar plexus and entering into the earth. I want you to envision the earth as absorbing all of this parasitic energy. All right. I want you to observe the earth absorbing the parasitic energy that does not serve your highest good. All right. You're purging, you're purging, you're purging. And then what I want you to do, I want you to, after you've done that, after you feel like you've just cleansed, you've let go. Of course, this is just something to support you all. But if you want deeper, more specific stuff, like I said, get a reading. Then what I want you to do is I want you to envision a sun in front of you. The sun that is in front of you, this is your sun. This is your sacred sun. This is your Leo. This is your light. This is your power. I want you to see this sun above your head. So after you've envisioned yourself letting go all of the parasitic energy, no matter what it is in your life, after you see yourself releasing that, I want you to see this golden beautiful, bright sun in front of you. And then what I want you to do with that sun is I want you to inhale that sun in through your nose and bring it down into your solar plexus. So again, you have the sun has these rays. You are inhaling these sun rays and you're bringing it down into your solar plexus. This sun that you're visualizing, this sun represents your light. This sun represents your soul. This sun represents your essence. And as you are visualizing it and you're bringing it back in, what you are doing essentially is calling back all of your power, all of your energy, all of your essence. You're calling that back to you from all of the parasites that you have fragmented yourself in, the addiction, the thought forms, the relationships, the jobs, all of the ways that you've dimmed your light based off of who's been plugged into you, based off of what's been plugged into you, leeching from you, all of those things that have been draining your life force, that's been draining your light, you're calling it back in through this visualization of your sun. You're breathing it in through your nose and bringing it into your solar plexus. And then when you've sucked in all of your sun, when you've inhaled all of your sun, I just want you to see your solar plexus being bright, being vibrant, being illuminated. This is you tapping into that internal fire. This is you tapping into that Leo energy. This is you deciding that you are going to own your strength, that you are going to own your power, that you are going to embody the royalty and the regalness that is you. Understand this when it comes down to these moon cycles and these zodiacs. You, as a divine spiritual being, you embody all of them. You got Libra, Leo, Virgo, Pisces, Aries, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio. You are all of those things. And you are meant to embody and exercise the divine sacred qualities of that energy. Okay. So you're gonna call all of your strength, all of your love, all of your power, all of that Leo energy that you are meant to exude, you're gonna call that into yourself and hold that within your solar plexus. All right. Does anybody have any questions about this work before I get off of here? Somebody just bought their reading. Kalima, I see you, sis. Kalima said, I'm getting my reading. Let's go. Yeah, I love that for you. I'm excited to do the work. I'm so excited to do the work, and I'm grateful to Spirit for giving me these messages and just making it so freaking clear. Like I woke up with such clarity. I was like, okay, this is what my people need to hear. I will gladly give it to them. Anybody have any questions about what we just talked about? Cosmic energy. She said, if someone can't change due to mental disability and we want them in our lives, is it our job to change for them? If it's worth it, yeah. If you say you want them in your life, right? Okay, peace, green apple. I see you, sis. If you say you want that person in your life, cosmic energy, it's not about that you have to change. It's one, even with a mental disability, you can still set a boundary with them. You can set a boundary with them. You can set a standard. I don't care. Listen, whether a kid, I've worked with autistic kids, I've worked with Down syndrome kids, I've worked with kids that have many disabilities, right? Not necessarily adults. I mean, my aunt, like I just told you, she's certified, tested bipolar. And I love my aunt. So I'm not canceling her out of my life. I just know how I have to manage her. I just know that when she says and does things, it is my responsibility to not allow what she says and what she does to penetrate my being and hurt me because I know and understand that she's not doing it because it's me. She's doing whatever she's doing because that's her. So there is a change that is made in that right, right? There's a change that is made in that right to where it's like there's only so much accountability you can hold on a person who does not have the mental capacity to understand boundaries, who doesn't have the mental capacity to understand that their actions, their words are impacting and influencing somebody else. So the change that you have to make is you have to fortify your spirit and you have to energetically protect yourself from the energy that this person is giving off. That's the work that you actually have to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you've changed, even though they will feel like you've changed. Okay. A lot of times when you set a boundary, people be like, "Ooh, she changed. She different." Oh no, I'm just not allowing you to do the same shit that you used to do. Okay. And so, like my aunt, I saw her for multiple days in a row after she tried to project this negativity on me. She tried to really make it seem like, y'all, like I blatantly ignored her. Like for what? Why would I even have a desire to do that? I have no desire to ignore you, to mistreat you. I have no desire to do that at all. She held on to that for days. And every day where I saw her, I greeted her with a smile. Hey, Auntie, have a good day at work. Da, 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 da. And it wasn't no bullshit. It wasn't no phony. I just know that it's not me. I just know that you've created this story in your mind. And you can tell yourself that story as long as you want to tell yourself it. But I'm not letting you plug into it. It's just that simple. All right. I'm glad you received that. Jenny said, "Girl, after my fast, I lost a whole human being who I thought was my friend and family. I'm about to do one this week. Confirmation. Oh wow." Jenny said, "Girl, that's because they weren't real. Their intentions were pure. And so that fast purified these impure beings from your space. Because who knows what their intentions, what their back, who knows what their subconscious mind was really speaking. The conscious mind was saying, hey, friend, I love you. You're awesome. But in the background, they like, I can't stand this girl. In the background, there's jealousy, there's envy, or there's lust, greed. All of that is happening in the background. And your spirit, your higher self knows that. Your higher self knows that. And so when you do that purge and you say, Spirit, release me from anything and anyone that does not serve my highest good and that does not support my growth and upliftment, when you say that, people, places, and things start to fall away. All right? That's my message for y'all. I'll be seeing y'all soon. To all of my womb alchemists, we start class tomorrow. I'm super excited. If you need any support accessing the bonuses or doing anything pertaining to the womb alchemy bootcamp, message me in the Geneva app, and I'll be more than happy to answer y'all and see what's going on. I'm so excited to serve y'all. Listen, if this video Green Apple says, I was so traumatized from my bipolar aunt as a child. Protect your kids from parasite family members. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Juicy, absolutely juicy. Listen, if this video has resonated with y'all, make sure you like the video, leave a comment, do all of the human things um, that allow you all to support me in this YouTube platform way. I love y'all. I'll be seeing y'all soon. Happy new moon. Happy new moon in Leo. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself shine. Do the work to disconnect from anything and anyone that is standing in the way of that greatness. All right. Peace, y'all. See y'all soon.